Good morning, YCC. Did I say YCC? Good morning, friends. Back here, lovely day. We're on day 11 today and still rocking it at YCC. I hope you've involved yourself in these sessions that have been, I would say, cherry-picked for each of your careers. So many diverse opinions and getting the 3I connect, the opinions of the youth, the young, the lovely participants that we have here, and obviously the industry and the institution. I think it's been lovely being a part of this whole YCC celebration for careers. And while we move up, we have a fantastic power-packed day today with various sessions and a wonderful keynote speaker whom I'll introduce to you very shortly. But the day is packed with sessions on PR and event management, wellness, vocational skilling, travel and tourism. And as you know, we have the Future Stars startup competition on, the quiz semifinals on in its second round today, and obviously the entertainment bit which is coming from Seven Sounds. So it's a day packed with a lot of action. And I have with us our keynote speaker for the day, Mr. Yogesh Andle. He's going to talk to you today on the Millennials Dialogue, on the need for inspired leadership with an idea on startups and the spirit of what he tries to communicate from a perspective of a message for leadership. Yogesh is a founding team member of several leading well-known IT consultancy and education spheres companies, and he is a co-founder of the Nucleus Software. He's a mentor, he's a coach, and at an early stage investor in several startups. Yogesh has been an advisor to the Millennial Alliance program of FICCI, that's FICCI, and the Millennials Alliance, which is also a catalytic fund, was set up jointly by the USAID, DST, TFID of UK Aid, and several other organizations. In the last 5 years, Millennial Alliance has supported more than 120 social sector innovations, impacting about 100 million people. These have been selected from among 500,000 plus applicants who applied for the catalytic funding. These enterprises have been in the field of education, healthcare, agriculture, energy and water, and also sanitization and more. Yogesh has served as the co-chair of the startup committee of FICCI and a member of the Science and Technology Board of FICCI as well. He serves on the board of IIM Udaipur Incubation Center, the Wheels Charitable Foundation, which is also an advisory body, and he's an advisory board member for the FITT, IIT Delhi, TBIU, and KIIT. He's sought after mentor by the entrepreneurs incubated at FICCI and has been supporting both incubators and accelerators. Yogesh also serves as the board of SOIL, which is the School of Inspired Leadership. And SOIL has been recognized as a pioneer in leadership education and has won both laurels as well as a large amount of appreciation for its leadership development programs. Yogesh Andle has graduated from IIT Delhi in 1979, and he was the president of the IIT Delhi Alumni Association during the years 2006 and 7. Yogesh is an active participant in Mission Samriddhi, a social development and acceleration project where he serves as a member of the Executive Council. Let me welcome to YCC for a 25-minute discussion on his views on leadership for the youth. Please welcome Mr. Yogesh Andle.
Good morning, and thank you, Sunil, for such a amazing introduction.
Thank you, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So grateful to you. Today is Krishna Janmashtami, and I convey my best wishes to all of you on this auspicious occasion, an auspicious festival that we all celebrate with a lot of fervor, a lot of joy, enthusiasm. And I begin with paying my salutations to Lord Krishna, and happy Janmashtami to everybody. So I'm wondering, where do I start from? Several points I was thinking about. I could start from this element and this element and this element. I think I'll start with education and leadership. When the management education was first conceived, it was conceived to develop managers. And if I remember correctly, the mission of the very first business school that was established was to develop managers who could earn decent profit decently. To develop manager who can earn decent profit decently. So the entire focus, the entire objective was oriented towards profit making. And over the years, almost now more than 100 years of management education, there's been a constant strive to produce high performance leaders, managers. The performance was the key criteria, and typically the measurement of performance was thought in terms of profits. And we have had amazing leaders, amazing manufacturers, amazing industrialists, and we have seen all this progress that's happened all around. But then there came a point when we first experienced the meltdown of a giant financial institution, which not only went down, it also brought down a huge impact on the entire finance sector and global economy. And that instant was triggered by just one high performance performer. He had been getting huge incentives, huge rewards, performing exceedingly well. And in that continuous performance, high performance, he was taking risks, and the risks that he took brought down a centuries-old institution in a jiffy, in a moment. That made a lot of people think, by giving this education, by developing managers, leaders, have we contributed positively to the world, to the society, to the community? Or has this something else needs to be thought about? And that thought started reflecting, the thought started, and it resulted in saying that it's not just the profits that we are concerned about, but there's something beyond profit. When we look at our Indian ethos tell us something very different. Indian ethos, Indian scriptures, they visualize a person as a whole, as a whole being. And they visualize that the purpose that we have, all of us have come here with a purpose. And this human life has been given to us to strive or to serve that purpose. And depending on how well we have been able to serve, we whatever rewarded or moksha or param shanti or otherwise, we'll have to continue keep taking birth till the time we achieve, we realize we have served our purpose. A very different ethos. And then we felt that we also were hearing a lot of industry leaders. We were hearing that what do they look for in candidates they want to hire, they want to nurture, they want to grow. And everybody again talked about high performance. But when they talked about high performance, they also talked about something beyond just high functional performance. They were talking about that people who can work and deal with people become better leaders. People who are able to get inspiration, who have intrinsic motivation, they are able to perform better than externally motivated, incentivized persons. And that made us thinking as to what should we be, how can we help such a class or such a group of leaders to be built, to be developed. Let me give you a little bit of my own background and how did we reach this stage. I have been an entrepreneur. I'm an IT entrepreneur and co-founder of Nucleus Software. Three of us, myself, Vishnu Dusad and Arun Jain, we started in 1983 with a small software development entity, which by grace of God, by the hard work of my colleagues and huge support of the people who work with us, it's emerged that the small partnership has led to formation of several large organizations, Nucleus Software, Intellect Design, which is carved out of Polaris Software. Both of them are public listed companies. 20 years ago, around 2000, I got an opportunity to join Mr. Anil Sachdev, and he started an HR consulting company called Grow Talent. 10 years, Grow Talent did phenomenal work in transformation, HR transformation, the organization transformation work was very well recognized. And then we felt that are we doing enough? What is our calling? What's our next purpose in life? And we felt that if we could education, training, building leaders, that's what we have been doing in organizations. Can we do it in a more structured manner? And about 10 years ago, that led to foundation of a school of business called School of Inspired Leadership. This business school was started with the purpose of developing leaders with character, competence, and enthusiasm. And it was formed on the basis of 5 pillars, the 5 values, the founding values. And these values are empathy, self-awareness, compassion, diversity, and sustainability. I'll not go much deeper into these, but I'll bring back my discussion again to developing inspired leaders. Who is an inspired leader? And how does one become an inspired leader? Are inspired leaders born? Or can you actually develop that entire inspired leadership ethos? A lot of inspired leadership, it comes from, we derive it from our own Indian philosophies, Indian ethos, Indian scriptures. And one of the models is that this human body is made up of 5 kosha layers. These layers are Annamay Kosh, which is the physical body, the pranmaya kosh, which is the energy, the flow, the breath, which continuously gives us the energy. The manomaya kosh, the vigyanmaya kosh, and deep inside is the anandmaya kosh. These koshas, or these human body, the five layers, the annamaya kosha is the one which is what is visible to us as a stool, or as a human body. We are all experiencing the five senses, help us experience the world, the universe around us. Now, these senses are continuously giving us signals. I'm constantly hearing sound. I'm constantly watching something. When I eat, I taste. When I touch, I feel. So these five senses are constantly sort of generating thought, generating stimulus. Now, what is my response to this stimulus? Do I give attention? How much attention do I give to this? How do I balance this attention to these senses? And how do I use these senses in the most efficient, effective manner to not only for my own well-being, but for the well-being of everybody else around us? And this is where the inspired leadership sort of starts converging. I'll shift tracks, and I'll try and give you an example, or I'll help you understand this from a slightly different perspective. This is a question we have often been asked. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an illustration from a global leadership program, a workshop that I was attending. This was GLP, which was run by Mr. Anil Sachdev and his consortium of global leaders, and this has a participants from the world's leading organizations, or the multinational organizations, their top executives. They usually are they join these cohorts. So with one of the cohorts, one of the groups, they said they wanted to experience Indian spirituality and something of that sort. So we organized a retreat for them at Sidbadi Ashram at Chinmay Ashram at Sidbadi. And we were all sitting together. We would have some conversations in the morning and evening, some meditations, some discussions. And in one of the discussions, someone mentioned that I'm extremely bothered about the negativity all around us. Whether we are working in an organization, we are living in a society, in a community, there's a whole lot of negativity that we experience. And he wanted to explore how can we deal with this negativity, because this negativity takes away a lot of our energy, a lot of our strength, and it's a big distraction. We had more than 2-hour discussion. So we all were sitting in a large circle, with one Swami Niklanandji of Chinmay Mission with us. And we kept on discussing as to what could be the ways and means of fighting negativity. And there are many ways, many arguments, many methods, many processes. Everyone shared his own experiences. And finally, when Swamiji started speaking, I still remember there's a pin drop silence. And Swamiji said that when there is darkness around, how do you fight the darkness? Do you take a lathi? Do you take a pistol? What do you do? And that got us thinking. And he said, just light a lamp. Howsoever small it may be, the darkness vanishes. So to fight negativity, it's not no lathi, no banduk, no pistol, no rifle, no missile is required. To fight negativity, just do a positive deed, a positive work, a positive contribution, a positive service. And howsoever small it may be, that will be the beginning of the end of negativity. Such a simple example, such a simple illustration. How do we apply it in our own lives? In another program, we were discussing about conflict. We face conflict all around, at all places. What is the source of this conflict? When we started looking at it deeply, started exploring it, we learned that the source of conflict is not outside, it is inside us. Every conflict is initiated by that little deception, the self-deception that happens. Let me explain to you how. We are all tuned to doing something good, something always we go around doing things. Between two people, we do things, we act which are mutually beneficial. We do something good to the other, he does something good to me, and that cycle continues, and that's how we grow. If it's a negative wise, if I don't do good, he doesn't do me good, the entire thing goes into a negative spiral. Now in this positive, if it's a negative spiral, we are already in conflict. We are talking about how does the conflict begin. That means we are in the positive spiral, so we are continuously doing something good, well, to each other. Sometimes, for some reason, some issue, I hold myself from taking an action that I was about to take for the wellness of everybody. I just stop. And the moment I stop that, the seed of conflict is sown. Now what happens? I start justifying to myself why I did not do that, why I stopped from doing whatever that good deed or well deed I was about to do. I justify it to myself because somewhere I have deceived my own intentions, and that's a self-deception. Then I discussed with somebody else, somebody around me, and I said I wanted to do this, but I did not do it for the following reasons. And they amplify that back to me. And as the cycle of amplification continues, we get into a box. Now the other person who's observing me, what is he observing? He's observing my actions. Now, based on the observation of my actions, he's interpreting my intention. Now you look, there's an action, intention, action, intention on my side and on his side. He responds, he derives some negative intentions based on the actions that I did not perform or something of that sort. And he starts justifying his own negative action. and both of us continue to go into a loop. Now this loop keeps on strengthening and keeps building silos around us. The conflict has begun now, and you would notice these are the sources of conflict at all levels, be it interpersonal, organizational, inter-organizational, across company, across organizations, across nations, across communities, across religions. Somewhere when the moment when we have deceived ourselves, our own good intentions, our own intentions, we have sown the seed of conflict. And what's the antidote to it? Or how do I prevent it? That meta moment, if I become conscious of, then I have the power in me to prevent the conflict from being sown. Having entered into a conflict, realizing that the source of conflict was at self-deception, and I take the first step, a positive step of doing something good to the other, and the whole of this conflict just starts dissolving away. Remember, my actions seen by others, they derive my intention from the actions that I have made. I cannot see my actions, but I know what my intention is. My intention has always been so good. So I judge myself on the intention, but I judge the other person on his actions and my interpretation or derived intention by me. And this action interaction gap, if it increases, leads to conflict. If it's controlled, the conflict starts resolving. How do we do it? Simple. Every time we get a stimulus, we have a meta moment to respond. And in that meta moment, we can define how am I going to respond. And as you start practicing it, somebody says it's meditation, somebody says something, it's called by so many terms. But the moment I can differentiate between an experience and my response to that experience, and I can modulate my response, my behavior starts changing. I'm more in control. Now I am more driven from inside. And the more good I think of, more well-being I think of, that's where the positive spirals begin. And that's the source of the entire inspired leadership. It starts from me. The inspired leadership starts from me. It's the self-leadership. How do I lead myself? Derives, decides, or demonstrates how will I be leading others. And that's the whole ethos or whole background, the whole mechanism of self-leadership is, or inspired leadership is. I think I have taken quite some time, and I'm being given communication that I need to wrap up now. So I think I'll stop here, having shared this method of developing self-leadership. Of course, there are a whole lot of other things we talk about. We talk about experiences, and the natural question comes in: who is experiencing it? I. So who am I? The moment we start pondering on these questions, a whole new sphere of knowledge, information, learnings appear before us. I think I'll stop here. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'll be happy to respond to your queries, your questions. You may write to me through YCC, or they'll be able to share my contact details with you. Have a good day and happy Janmashtami to you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yogesh. I mean, that was a wonderful spiral. You put us on a spiral quest to leadership. And I guess that that was truly words of knowledge from somebody who's buried himself in building the next generation of leaders. There was some lovely concepts you wove into the leadership fabric. And I think taught us some of those ways in which you can be a selfless leader, how to get away with negativity, conflict, get your meta movement defined as you move on that journey. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you as a speaker for the day, and I'm sure that the youth is energized to to experience our other sessions that roll out from 9:30 in the next minute or so. We have the PR and event management session. So thanks, Mr. Yogi.
Thank you very much.
And have a great day. And thanks for being at YCC.